gonna swim, bike, and run in the Kona sun. We're gonna swim, bike, and run in the Kona sun 2021.
Thank you, Poncho Man. Welcome everybody to Breakfast with Bob, not quite Kona edition. My name is Bob Babbitt. We are brought to you by Clash, by Credo Tri, UCAN, Hoka One One VeloFix, Normatec Canyon Bikes, and of course our Challenge Athletes Foundation. We just sent out 3,038 grants, totaling $5.1 million to keep challenge athletes in the game of life through sport. Our next guest, two-time Ironman World Champion, 2017 and 2018, the first man to go under 8 hours at the Ironman World Championship. And he's coming off of a huge win down in Tulsa. Mr. Patrick Lange joins us. Patrick, how are you doing?
Yeah, hi. Thanks. I'm really good. Still tired, as you can imagine, from this big race at the weekend. But you know, the adrenaline still keeps me going, and it was just great to have the emotions of the victory, and of course, this also shortens the period of time that you need to recover, because I'm just over the moon still, and I'm really happy with my race.
So this last year, obviously, everybody dealing with COVID, and especially you win in 2017 and 18, and then 19, you're sick during the race, have to drop out. And I'm sure you're thinking, oh, well, I'll come back next year and we'll do it again. And then the whole world shuts down. So there really was no chance to come back. How hard was it for you coming off, obviously, a disappointment, not to have another opportunity to race for so long?
Yeah, of course, it was a big punch in the gut, I think, for every one of us. But at some point, I started to put the positives in front and said, okay, it is the way it is now. And I took some more time to relax, to recover, to focus on my mind, to make some changes in my team around me. Started training with a new coach, and we started working much more closely with my physio on some back issues. And you know, it was just time to build up. And actually, I have the feeling I used the time that was gifted to me, or to all of us, I think, in the perfect way. And I approached this as a chance. And of course, I'm still hoping for everything to be normal, and I'm praying to be in Kona in October, etc., etc. But I think it was the best decision to try to get the most out of the situation and work on my weaknesses.
And when people say weaknesses, people would say, okay, Patrick Lange, great swim, great run, not a great cyclist. When I look at what happened in Tulsa and I see a 4:17 bike, and then I see a 2:36 marathon, I see a champion who said, okay, somebody identified a weakness here and maybe thinks that I can't ride the bike. I think I can ride the bike, and I'm going to show them that.
Yeah, maybe we shouldn't say weakness. We should say potential.
Exactly.
I think I always have been a strong bike rider, but to sharpen this a little bit more, and to be able to also be more active on the bike, and to take some more risk also. Was my goal in training. And to be honest, I put a lot of effort in this. I put a lot of work in it, especially in the bike part. I have a fantastic training group here around me with a couple of pro cyclists that training for Tour de France or Olympic Games, and it's just amazing to ride with them and to kind of copy their riding style. Going downhill, just copying their lines, their breaking points, try to hang on with them for as long as possible in the hill, just made me stronger. And I think that is one of the main reasons why we see an improved potential on the bike.
When we were watching at Tulsa, you were right there with the lead group, and you were taking turns going off the front and sort of controlling the pace. And it reminded me a lot back in the day, I think, back when Craig Alexander won 2 years in a row in 2008 and 9. And then, he had a formula. He stayed with the group and ran away. And then in 2010, Chris McCormick and a group attacked him on the bike, and he was too far back to move up. And people thought, well, they identified his weakness, not his potential. And then the following year, what did he do? He broke the course record. He dictated the pace, very similar to the way you rode at Tulsa, taking turns at the front, showing, hey, I'm here. I'm not just going to be part of the group. I'm dictating what happens here. Was that a conscious effort on your part during the bike ride in Tulsa to show that, hey, I'm part of this group. I can ride as well as anybody else?
It's interesting that you mentioned Greg Alexander, because he's always a person who I really look up to. Total gentleman racer for me, and I can remember the times when people said he's a weak bike rider, and I always thought, wait a second, he won 2 times, so he cannot be that bad. But
yeah,
obviously, he improved his game on the bike. And it's a good similarity that you have there. And in Tulsa, I had a good swim. I was right there where I want to be, and I was just I wanted to leave a mark. I wanted to say, hey guys. Also for the guys that are not racing but probably will be in Kona, here I am. This is what I got, and you better count me in for this race in Kona.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny when I look back in 2016 when Jan won, he rode 429 and you rode 437, and then in 17, the first year,
but I had a penalty. So
that's right, they had a penalty. Yeah. So when you won in 2017, Lionel rode 414 and you rode 428. Well, you didn't need to ride any faster. You won the race. And the following year, but you did ride 416 in 2018. So obviously, even though Cam Wirth went 409, 416 was obviously an incredibly solid bike ride. Has it surprised you when people start talking, oh, Patrick doesn't ride the bike well? Did that talk sort of bother you?
I learned to deal with it, let's say it this way, because obviously it's always interesting that you read 100 comments on social media, and there's this one negative comment that kind of sticks with you, and it needs, I think, a mature athlete to get rid of this negativity and to say, I don't care, or maybe like I don't read it, to actually find a way to cope with these negatives and not letting this affect your performances. And I think that's also a big step up for me over the last 4 years. I learned so much. I grew in this role as an Ironman World Champion pretty quickly. So I think it was just my 4th Ironman where I became World Champion. So it was kind of new, and it just took time to mature with the process. And I think I made a huge step with that. I also worked on that. I mean, we can talk about it. I'm working for, I think, a year now with a mental coach also together, because at some point I felt, okay, I need to figure out and I need to make new strategies for this. And here I am, and just feeling better, enjoying training much more, and yeah, just leveled up my performance also, with the help of my mind, you know. And we both know how important the mental aspect of our sport is, and yeah, that helped a lot.
Yeah, and I'm sure that also helped with you deal with the loss of your mom. That had to be so difficult for you. Was it something where your mom had cancer for a number of years, or was it something that came on fairly suddenly?
No, she was sick for about a year. So I was really happy to have her with me in Kona. So looking back on the whole process,
Yeah.
I was just happy that she went with us to Kona in 2018. Didn't know that she was actually also sick by that time. We found out, I think, in December 2018, and then the whole story began. And it was a rough year. Definitely, it was super hard. I think everyone who ever lost a family member or loved one can relate to that. And especially if I think back of Ironman Frankfurt, where finished in 11th place in 2019, had from an outside perspective, really poor performance. People don't know that I actually was. My mom had cancer treatment in Frankfurt, and I actually went to the hospital, and after visiting her, got to the press conference and got back to the hospital after, and actually going from the bed to the start line. The bike course was going past that hospital, and it was just, people cannot know because I did not tell or told the story, because I simply doesn't want anyone to think, oh, Patrick has a weak performance now. He takes his mother as an
Excuse.
So this is why I didn't brought it up. Yeah. And you know, it was a hard situation to handle. And yeah, so that was I think that was the biggest down moment in this whole process, is the Ironman Frankfurt thing, and also the knowing that she will probably not recover from this, and also this affected the whole Kona build-up, as you can imagine, and also everything else. And
I think that's the fascinating part, is we see all the athletes, during the week leading into Kona, but we don't know what's going on inside your head. We don't know what's happening with your family. And so going into Kona, not having your mom with you, she had been with you the year before there in Kona, that must have been very difficult for you, not having mom with you in 2019 in Kona.
I don't think it was a problem not having her with me, just more to know how much she struggles at home.
Yeah.
But again, I don't want to use this as an excuse. I was just getting really sick before the race, and I probably should never have had started this race with shivers and fever on race morning.
Right.
But the overall situation probably affected also my immune system. The stress level is just so high. You're just not recovering as much as your body is or should be able to recover. And this whole situation affected my immune system. And then all of a sudden, someone coughs in the airplane, you get sick, where you normally maybe not getting sick because you're more able to recover. So I think the big picture was just not as it should have been in 2019, the whole year. And recovering from this, going out of the situation, sit down and take the necessary steps to work on it and to make this process and step forward and process everything that had happened. Just helped, and now here I am, and I think
In a great place.
I'm just grateful to go out there in Tulsa and have probably one of the best performances of my life. And it's just, it was just a very, very, how can I say it? I'm just very, very grateful that this happened to me.
Well, you were obviously very emotional at the finish line at Tulsa, and with everything you've been carrying with you with your mom, it's almost a little bit of closure, right? Here you are getting back to doing what you love to do and having one of your greatest races in memory of your mom. That's pretty special. And you could see the emotion, right? That you were carrying with you.
Yeah, totally. Especially after I saw the finish arch, I saw the magic carpet again. And I always try to not to get like too distracted by emotions in a race, but then all of a sudden when I see the carpet, I see the banner, and I really realize, okay, it is about to happen. I'm going to win this race. I'm just exploding out of emotions, and it was like this. I needed to scream it out, and my team was right there with me. So. And I mean, they had been such an important part of recovering from all that, and it was just great to have at least some of the team members with me there, and to share this emotions with them. And I'm just super happy, especially after this Corona break that was simply just too long.
Yeah, way too long. So the rest of the season leading into Kona, what will you be doing?
To be honest, Bob, I don't know yet, because I made a plan A, which was going to Tulsa in the best shape I can be in. And obviously no long distance leading into Kona anymore. So recover now for the next, 2-3 weeks. And then try to find some nice 70.3 races that just are a good fit for building up to Kona. And then, there's this big dance on the second weekend of October. And I think that's everything I wish for and everything I hope for. And I want to be in the best shape ever to race with the very best there.
So it's interesting because there is a parallel with when you had Craig Alexander winning his 2 in a row, then having a disappointing race, and then coming back and proving people wrong, and not only winning but breaking the course record. What would it mean to you to go back to Kona, a place where you've won twice, and win your third time?
It is, it's everything I live for at the moment, and I'm super hungry to prove to myself also that I'm still able to push myself even more, and getting even more out of my body, and improve myself. And it would just mean very much to me, and also for the fans of the sport. I think it would be just amazing to see racing, of course, in Kona. And it feels like also in Tulsa, like the people on the course who was they had been watching that, it feels like there's this dry sponge, and everyone is like burning for it and want to see all the triathletes perform and go out and cheering for them. And I think it will be even even bigger in Kona, and that's what I'm really looking forward to.
Well, what we're looking forward to is we've got, here you've got Jan Frodeno and yourself, and I don't think you guys have matched up when both are at the top of your game in Kona, right? And when Jan won and you got third, then he won again. But when you won, he had his back issues, and the following year he didn't race. So having both you guys on the starting line in the best shape ever, going head to head, I think that's the fans of the sport really want to see that, and I'm guessing you do too.
Yeah, actually, that's always in my mind. That's what I prepare for. That's I think also what drives me the most, and I know that it's also Jan's biggest motivation going out there day by day. And I think we both kind of see us in an Iron War 2.0. You know, it's it would be just amazing to race with Jan shoulder to shoulder in the marathon, going into Energy Lab, and just give it everything and see who comes out in front.
What have you learned about yourself from this, going from not having races, having a day where you were sick, and then not being able to follow up all that time off, and dealing with what you dealt with your mom? What have you learned about yourself through this?
Recovery is actually the most underrated but most important thing in life and in sport in general. It is super important to, from time to time, take a step back and reflect on certain things, taking the time to process, and be humble what we have and what we are allowed to do, to knowing that how great it is actually to do the sport, to do triathlon in the way we do it, it is amazing, and it was taken away from us, and this feeling kind of just lit up the fire even more, because someone takes away from you what you actually love. We are not used to this, so it just made me realize how much I love what I am what I'm allowed to do, and it just, it was just, it's just like I said, it lit up the fire even more, and I think there are a lot of people thinking the same way.
Oh, absolutely. Especially for a guy like yourself, who was really, you were leaving the sport. And now, now you're two-time Ironman World Champion. You set the course record there. You're the first guy under 8 hours. You just won in Tulsa. When you look back at that guy and going, you took a big risk. You basically left your job and said, okay, I'm going to go to Texas, and I'm either going to do well here or I'm out of the sport. When you look back at that moment in time, and just think that it could have gone the other way. You could have had a bad day there and you'd be working as a physio. And the fact that you had that great day and that led to what happened in Kona, how do you look back on that?
Again, grateful to have that happen. I mean, it one flat tire in Texas, and it could totally turn around in the different direction, and it's just when I look back, I feel like I'm a lucky boy, and that I'm able to do what I love, and I think it also gave me the power, because like you said, I was about to have to quit because I simply had not any sponsors anymore, and I took the chance that was given to me, and did it with a lot of passion and with a lot of heart. And I think that's that's just my way to work, to have my heart in the hand and give it everything I have. And be fair and humble in what I do, and extract the most out of it.
Patrick, I always appreciate chatting with you. I love class, passion, dedication. You're all of that and more, because you love the sport, but you also love the age groupers, and you love the fact that they look at you as a guy who's, you know, was ready to quit the sport and has moved on and achieved so much, and people gain from that. And what you've overcome, just dealing with the death of your mom and coming back to have one of the greatest races you've ever had, is pretty damn special.
Thanks, Bob.
Patrick Lange has been our guest. Patrick, thank you again for taking so much time. Always such a pleasure. Patrick Lange has been our guest. Everybody.
See you in Kona.
We will see you in Kona. We'll have the same backdrop, and we will have Poncho Man there. Yes. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in.
Can't wait.
Can't wait. Breakfast with Bob, not quite Kona edition. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Catch you next time. See ya.